final, but sometimes it's good to just come into a final and play it as just another normal game. You were talking there about how the teams will line up. It'll be interesting to see if Amy Ryan comes out centre back or centre forward. You'd imagine Niamh McCarthy, who was Limerick's captain this year, will stay there. But if Amy plays at full forward, will Maeve McCarthy or Niamh pick her up? We were kind of talking here in commentary. We kind of think that probably regardless of where Amy goes, Niamh McCarthy will mark her, and that's an inter-county battle there. So if Drom can get on top of Oola's forwards, because there are some dangerous forwards inside there, you mentioned them, Leah Coughlin, Kathleen Bradshaw, as well as Amy Ryan, and obviously Lainey Stokes, Chloe Bryan and O'D are in a county final for a reason. But there's going to be a lot of key matchups here as we look at it. Now is Amy's out at half forward, left wing forward for her, so it'd be interesting to see who picks her up. But I'm just siding with Oola, Tom. But probably be more to be awkward than anything else.
Well, that's one vote from each of my co-commentators. Mark Murphy of Kiltilly Drumkeen has the ball at his foot. He's about to start this game. Drumcolour Broadford playing from right to left, and the 2021 Tridental Limerick Intermediate Football Championship final is underway, and straight away it's Caitlin O'Connor who lines up at midfield, and she swaps positions already and goes back to mark the aforementioned Amy Ryan as the ball finds its way out over the line, and it's going to be a line ball for Oola. Oola back in their familiar white and red, having worn a change strip last week, and here is Ryan on the ball, looking up, surveying her options, and finds a runner through the middle, and it's delivered low into the inside forwards. And a chance here now for the opening score of the game. Lovely jink and a run and a score. The opening score of the game after just 30 seconds goes the way of Oola, and a very well worked score there, Jack.
Yeah, brilliant score there. I think it was Kathleen Bradshaw that was on the end of it, but a nice flowing move from Oola. They had the ball in their own half back there on a sideline, and within 15 seconds they're kicking over the bar. And a brilliant start for a team that are against the team that played in the final last year and have huge experience. Yeah,
the kick out taken there by Ciara McCarthy and mopped up by her teammates. Drom looking to settle themselves down after that early concession, and the ball finds its way to Laura Stack. Stack feigns to kick it, and it's a good interchange of passes, and it's Saoirse McCarthy popped back outside towards Sarah Sheehan, and a bit of a tussle for there, and it's a free in, and an early opportunity, Dimpna, for the Drumcolour free taker to level it up.
Yeah, Anya Cunningham is going to take this, and Anya is, I suppose, she would have been taking the freeze for Limerick Ladies last year, and I'd imagine this will be a score for Drum.
Well, has she put the commentator's curse on her? Indeed she has, because it's gone to the right hand side and wide, the opening wide of this contest, and I suppose as a free taker you want to try and nail your first one, get the confidence up, but still a long way to go for Anya Cunningham to right that wrong. And a first interaction with the football for Karen O'Dwyer, as O'Dwyer looks to her left wing, but it's into a blue shirt, and the ball coming back to wing back Caitlin O'Connor. Out to this side is Saoirse McCarthy, skipping inside. Will she have a look at the post? She doesn't. She recycles possession to Alana Mulcahy. Mulcahy, could be another chance here, and it's full forward Gemma Barrett, but she's well dispossessed. Referee about to blow his whistle. He does, and he's given a free in. A pull back there, and it's going to be Laura Stack now who takes this second one, and Laura Stack with absolutely no hesitation. About 2 seconds she had the ball in her hands and she pops it over the bar. Good response, it must be said, Jack, by Drom Broadfod.
Cool as you like there from Laura Stack. I suppose after missing the first one from Anya, I suppose she was like, I'm not going to take too much time over this, but it's very clear straight away. Drom Broadford's style of play, they like to move it through the hands. Probably went a bit too much through the hands the first two times, but they're level now and they've probably settled better.
Yeah, Caoimhe Sheehan onto the possession, and Laura Stack scored that point. A lovely ball inside from Stack. Could there be an opening here? There is, as a ball is sent over the bar. A couple of bodies hit the deck. Very well worked score there. Lovely ball, cross-field ball there by Laura Stack.
Yeah, great score by Anya. Again, Anya, if she gets the ball, she will do damage.
Yeah, well, a little bit of damage done to Anya in the scoring of that point. Left-footed, sent it over the bar, and she's going to receive a little bit of treatment. So, good response to that opening minute score from Oola by Drom Broadford. 2 points in a matter of minutes, and Drom lead for the very first time. And Karen O'Dwyer again, this time she goes to the right, but it's a blue jersey underneath it. It looks like it's going to be an Oola ball if it goes out, but it's kept in play by Alana Mulcahy, and another foul. Mark Murphy indicating that was too high of a challenge. Jack, Oola struggling to get out on their own kick out. That's the third one now that has been turned over.
Yeah, and I played in goals this year, and you just realise how important primary possession is. And I think they're very, very bunched back there. I see NOD and Chloe O'Brien are coming back very far into the field now. Kaelin Fahy is trying to step as far as she can, but I think Oola needs to just settle down when they have a goal kick and move up the field, because it is very hard to win your own ball when there's so many players back there, and it allows Drom to push up.
Chance here for Sarah Sheehan. It's short, and a chance for Oola to work it out. And as Jack says, they really need to stop bunching there. The hand of the Oola defender held there, and a chance for them to clear their lines. So a bright opening from both sides, particularly Drom into that early lead. Referee looks to be playing a bit of an advantage here. Ball popped up there, and it's again Drom looking super. Oh, as the ball looked to have gone out over the line, the linesman did slip. He may have missed it, and good interchange of passes. Niamh McCarthy finds Anya O'Sullivan and switched across. Laura Stack looking for her inside forwards, and that is Anya Cunningham. Good tenacious defending from Oola's Laura Hayes. Ball comes out to midfielder Sarah Shanahan, and again that familiar hand passing routine from Drom and Laura Stack, the latest in this line, and it's Sarah Sheehan. Sheehan off her right foot, sends it high and sends it over the crossbar. It's a 6-minute point from Sarah Sheehan. Another well-worked score, and now we must talk about that style of Drom. They're not electing to kick past it. They're looking for runners off the shoulder, and it's paying dividends so far.
Yeah, they're moving it quick through the hands, and I suppose they would be known for that, and they do it very well.
Yeah, they've been doing very well so far. Well, 4 shots at the post and 3 of them points, as the ball finds its way to Leah Coughlin. Coughlin switches it across, and a bit of space on this far side for Amy Ryan to get her possession. Ryan skips away from the defender, goes through a couple of challenges. Advantage being played to Ryan. I think she may have double hopped that, but she was fouled in between those, and it's a free awarded by Mark Murphy, and a chance for Oola to launch their second attack of note. 6 minutes just on the clock here in the 2 Scala grounds. A reminder that later this afternoon we will have the Limerick senior final, that between Ballylanders and Mona Gay. So do stay tuned for an afternoon of ladies football as Oola win another free.
It's important for Oola that they can just keep the ball up here for a minute, just to ease the pressure on their backs. And look, if the ball is to be kicked for a score, it has to go dead, and let them regroup and just keep the ball in Drom's half for as long as they can, because they will have been under a lot of pressure for the first 5 or 6 minutes here.
Yeah, one thing I did note last week, Oola didn't take shots at goals from frees. They tried to work them short, and that is going to be sent wide to the left. That from, I think it was Chloe O'Brien on that occasion. So a first wide for Oola. 3 points to 1. Now let's see what Ciara McCarthy can do. Her opposite number, Karen O'Dwyer, has seen her defence struggle, gather from kickouts. And the shouts of get free Niamh from the Drom sideline. It's a well-worked kick-out. They've freed up Saoirse McCarthy. And again, the hand passing up this left wing. It's going to be right tight to the touchline, and a great challenge there from Chloe O'Brien. O'Brien wins her own line ball, and that's brought the voice into the Oola substitutes and indeed the Oola support here. And a chance now for Gemma O'Dwyer with the line ball. Hands out to say, where's my options? She switches it expertly across the field. That's a great ball, taking out the whole midfield area, and the ball worked inside. But it looks as though, well, in fact, there is a chance for Kathleen Bradshaw. Bradshaw, score of a point already, delaying her chance to shoot. And again, there's a sea of blue bodies in front, and it's a great block down by fullback Maeve McCarthy. Well, she read that very well, but the danger not cleared yet. A chance now for Oola, but again, there is just everywhere they go, they're met by a blue wall. And another chance here. The referee hesitates, but he doesn't blow, and the ball is going to be recycled here to O'Brien, Chloe O'Brien. Jinking, and again, just patience, and I think this is Kathleen Bradshaw in possession. And again, patient defending, patient attacking is Amy Ryan. Jinks one way, then the other. Plenty of pace to burn has Ryan, and skips inside again. The referee indicates a free. After all that, Jack, it looked very good defending up to that point from Drom. They didn't get drawn in to give away a foul, and then 3 players went to the ball. One of them, I'm sure, the guilty party there, but good chance for Oola now to pull it back.
Yeah, it's a good chance for Oola. I think the free was a bit tough. I actually thought the defending from Drom Broadfod was excellent, and you can just compare how easy Drom won a pair of frees there back to back in the first couple of minutes to how hard Oola had to work to win a free. And
oh well, the free is not going to go over the bar, it's going to go short. A chance still there for Oola, and it's sliced off the left boot. A disappointing passage of play, and a second wide now for the East Limerick side. Again, free taking could define this final. Early doors, nearly 10 minutes now on the clock here. Drom with the advantage as Ciara McCarthy goes high and long, but it's straight to Amy Ryan, unable to gather it, as this time she's been marked by Saoirse McCarthy. Ball finds its way to Sarah Shanahan. Again, lovely 3 interchanges of passes. Ball just dragged along the line by Sarah Sheehan. Sheehan, what can she do from here? She pops it inside to corner forward Olive Lenihan. Lenihan looks for Cunningham. Cunningham, was she held back? Cunningham off the left boot and gathered in there by a covering defender. Ball dropped, played on the ground in fact, and it's again Oola just about doing enough to come away with it. That was a dangerous moment there. And in fairness, Dimna, the Oola defence a little bit scattered at times. They're struggling with I think the pace more than anything of this Drom Broadfod attack.
Yeah, they were very lucky there. Again, if Anya gets on the ball, they seem to panic a bit, but they were lucky to get away with that one there.
Yeah, Anya Cunningham's shot just going short, covering defender, gathering it. Again, Drom filtering back the bodies. I think 11 players of theirs inside their own 65. Difficult, it must be said, for Oola to get any momentum as Anna O'D is in possession of it. O'D, great defending there by number 7, Cueva Sheehan. And Sheehan gathers it. Will she check back? She doesn't. She looks inside. And again, Drumcolor looking to break at pace. This is Sarah Sheehan. Sheehan already on the score sheet. Can she find someone in the inside line? No, she can't. It's well mopped up by Siobhan Maloney. And Oola can launch their latest attack straight through the middle. Well, there's an opportunity here. There's a player going inside. Can she find her? Great run all the way in, and it's a great score. That's what Oola need. 12 minutes on the clock, and I think it was Emma Kennedy.
yeah,
It's Emma Kennedy. Well, she gathered that on her own 65, Jack. What a score. She did look up, in fairness to her, didn't see much on, decided to take it on herself, and a very, very, very well taken score.
yeah. Emma's kind of playing more centre forward than midfield, as she was named, but it was interesting to see the movement inside. Nearly more so, like obviously it was brilliant from Kennedy to go all the way, but the movement inside from Oola allowed that space for her to run into, and she made no mistake. And Oola are definitely building into the game.
Yeah, Leah Coughlin is deemed to have fouled the ball. She was on her hands and knees as she played it, and free out for Drumcolor. Laura Stack dropping deep now to get her possession. Lovely ball inside to Cunningham. Very willing runner, looks for the return pass to Stack. Stack, score of a free early on in the contest. Lovely interchange of passes. Stack here, can she play for goal? She does. It's into the top corner. Laura Stack. 12 and a half minutes on the clock. What a very well executed team goal and a superb finish. We spoke about Anya Cunningham, but Laura Stack, I mean, what a goal that is, didn't it?
A great goal by Laura, and I suppose Laura is known for that, and she's a really good player. So again, they're really strong in the forwards, and I think if they get more ball in, quick ball in, they'll do damage.
Yeah, and Oola not lying down. Leah Coughlin, interchange of passes with Emma Kennedy. Kennedy will need more of that point that she got a moment ago. A real settler for Drom. They got 2 goals in last year's final. There's 1 already so far, as Oola probably a little bit shell-shocked by this start, but long way to go in this contest as their pass is filtered out by Drumcolor, and Sarah Shanahan pops it away to another teammate of hers, and it's the simple stuff that they're doing right. Oh, it's a high challenge there, and the injured party is Miriam Hayes. And it looks like the guilty party is Olive Lenihan. In fairness, I think Jack, she just lost control of it, went to grab it again, and caught her opponent high. Nothing malicious at all in it, but she's going to get ticked for that.
Yeah, there was no intent by Olive there, but this could be a good thing for Oola. Obviously, you never want to see a player down, but I think Miriam is going to be grand. And it just gives Oola a time to settle, because a lot of times when a team score a goal and it gets their back up and they go for more, they go for the jugular, but it'll give Oola a chance to reassess. Look, the goal is obviously a devastating blow to them, but they were built into the game. They had sustained period of pressures, but it just shows how dangerous Drom are at the other end, with the likes of Anya Cunningham inside there and a great finish by Laura Stack. But Oola, I think, were built into the game. They got in front of Anya 2 or 3 times in a row, but sure, the one time she gets it in, she sets up the goal. So Oola will have to be very careful about their defending back there. And also down is Cueva Sheehan at the moment. She's receiving attention down here by the sideline.
Yeah, Cueva Sheehan just getting a little bit of treatment from the physio. We'd hope she'll be okay. Miriam Hayes on the Oola side is okay to continue. So just approaching 15 minutes now, so we're not too far away from the first half water break. 6 points to 2, a goal and 3 to 2 points, so 4-point advantage for the West ladies. And Miriam Hayes gets it back underway. In fact, that was Laura Hayes, but turned over here now, and Cunningham plays a direct ball inside. It's a difficult one to defend, but Marie Maloney is on hand to gather it, and it's a danger here. The ball is picked up. There's a chance of another goal here. What's the referee giving? He's giving a free out, and I think the referee's whistle probably saved Oola's blushes there. They made an awful mess of that at the back.
Yeah, I think Gemma might probably put her boot to when the crowd was going down on the ball, so it was a free out, and again Oola are lucky. Yeah,
a bit of panic in the Oola full back line, it must be said, and again they're just not accurate with their passing coming out, and Laura Stack and combines with Sarah Sheehan, and Sheehan plays in Cunningham, a dual star, like a number of players on both sides, and indeed played football and camogie for Limerick in 2021. All worked inside. A chance here, looks at the post, no, recycled again to Cunningham, back to Sheehan off the right foot, and it looks to be sailing in and over. Indeed it is. It's Sarah Sheehan with her second point of this afternoon's contest, a goal and 4 now for Drom, and every time they go forward they look like scoring. And Oola, oh, there is the water break, and 16 minutes and 6 seconds is on the clock here in the 2 Scaly Crowns. Jack, it goes almost without saying, Drom much the happier. They've really settled into this contest. They've looked a danger at every opportunity, and they have the scores to show for it too. Yeah,
they have looked very dangerous, and they look like a team that know exactly what they're doing, and we saw it with the share teams that have won the Gaelic Crowns this year, like Kilmallock and Mungers in the hurling and Newcastle in the men's football, that like the team that is probably most organised generally comes out on top. And you see with Drom, you see a lot of the time that there's a third run being made, so not necessarily the person getting the ball will receive it. They'll make a run off the ball, and then it opens up space for the people. And they're a well-drilled outfit, and you can see it down there. They know exactly what they're doing. Once the water break was said, they were straight into huddle. They'll be keen to get back out again, but very organised back there. And Oola then on the other side look a bit, I don't know, not confused or lost, but there was an incident in the first half, or the first quarter, where they had a free and no one seemed to kind of step up and take it. It just seemed to be kind of, oh, I'll let you take it, and that builds throughout the team. So Oola just need to take this water break, win this. They're 5 points down. If they win this quarter, they'll go into the break at least within 4 points, if not less. So the game isn't lost for them by any means, but there is a lot of work to be done for Oola, and for Drom then on the other side, it's more of the same.
And Dimna, if you were in Richard Bowles' shoes, the Oola manager, what would you be saying to your charges here? What needs to change in the next 15 minutes or so?
I think if Oola are to come out on top here, they need to get Amy Ryan on more ball. I see that they've moved her in now into the inside forward line, but again, they're having trouble getting the ball in that far. But if they're to come out on top, they really need to get Amy on the ball, and Kathleen Bradshaw. Again, look, Drom, they're moving the ball well through the hands. Their support play is brilliant. But yeah, if Oola are to come out here, I suppose, and not to go in 5 or 6 points down at half time, they need a big 15 minutes here.
Indeed they do, and in fairness to Drom, they will keep mentioning last year's final. That's because 12 of the starting 15 from last year's final have started this contest, and they've really settled down. They won last year's final against Mungret St. Paul's by a single point. That played in Knockaderry in around 12 months ago, and that experience seems to have stood to them in the first 16 minutes. But Oola will no doubt have a big say in the next 45 minutes or so, and they'll be looking, as Jack said, to just cut that deficit as ever so slightly going into the interval. So the sides making their way back into their positions. So as you may hear there, Kevin Noonan and Maurice McCarthy telling their side to press up on this kick out. They've got plenty of joy so far from Karen O'Dwyer's kick outs. It's not been Karen's fault. It's just the pressure that has been put on by Drom Broadfod, and I wonder did Oola discuss exactly what they're going to do with this kick out at the water break. Comes out to this right hand side, looks to be a 50-50 ball, and again there's a blue shirt there, and this time it's Saoirse McCarthy pops it inside, just looking for interchange of passes. Ball flicked expertly one-handed to Caoimhe Sheehan, Laura Stack, patience in attack. Alana Mulcahy switches it across to Cunningham, and again the Oola defence standing off Cunningham. They just can't do that. Cunningham with a couple of solos off her left foot, and well, I'm not sure was that a shot or a pass, but in the end it turned out to be not very much of either. Oola, can they clear their lines? The ball is going to be out on this near sideline, and I think it's Miriam Hayes. Good pass there, takes out a couple of Drom Broadfod players. Needs to be moved at pace up this flank, and it's Leah Coughlin, another player who played football with Limerick in this season. And Coughlin's pass is a little bit miscued, and there's going to be the fullback Maeve McCarthy who gathers it, and very good defending from McCarthy. And again, Drom Broadfod patient all the time in their build-up, don't need to force the issue. And again, it's a run of Sarah Sheehan causing all sorts of danger, calls of steps, but manages to get a pass off to Olive Lenihan, and Lenihan off the right foot. That's a second wide now for Drom. That's statistic 2 apiece, and Drom Broadfod taking up, albeit not on the score sheet, but taking up where they left off before the water break. Plenty of good passing, and a very well worked move once again.
Yeah, they know exactly like how to operate against the defence. When it needs to go through the hands, it goes through the hands. When you need strong runners, they've plenty of runners coming from deep. It was Saoirse McCarthy that time, and Olive Lenihan will be disappointed with the shot going wide, but the more chances that Drom create, the more chance they have of scoring, and they're just finding it extremely easy to create chances, whereas Oola are finding it equally hard to try and get into the Drom Broadfod 45.
Well, Gemma O'Dwyer won a foul. She played it long to Chloe O'Brien, and she indeed was fouled, and another chance this time through Emma Kennedy. But again, it just finds its way to a Drom Broadfod defender. They have plenty of bodies back. They seem to have the fitness, it must be said, to get up and down, cover that ground, as Sarah Shanahan just pops the ball back here. Oola getting better numbers around the possession now, it must be said, and the ball is out over the sideline, carried out by Alana Mulcahy, and a bit of a lift there for Oola as they turn the ball over, but it scores what Oola needs, and the ball played again directly to the opposition. And a chance now for Saoirse McCarthy, and recycled out to the right hand side. It's Sarah Sheehan. Sheehan goes direct this time, and that hasn't paid dividends because Oola have the numbers back there, and Oola can try and launch an attack of their own. Emma Kennedy is she fouled? The referee hasn't indicated it either way.
I'd say it was charging from Emma more than anything.
Yeah, it looks to be. Oh no,
It's a bit harsh on Alana, I think.
Yeah, well, I don't think many people here knew which way that was going, but it's gone Oola's way. But once again, an Oola free just doesn't find its intended target, and they have coughed up possession. Another chance now for Drom to build on that lead. A 5-point advantage at this stage looks to be a decent lead, and they come back across Sarah Sheehan and Laura Stack, the scorer of that goal after 13 minutes, and it's Sarah Shanahan. And just so many Drom players, and the ball hits a player in the face. A great block down there by the Oola player as Amy Ryan comes away with it. So we're going to probably resume there with a ball with Amy Ryan, but she just blocked that with the face. Great bravery shown there, Jack. It looked like another chance for Drom, but the Oola defender, I'm not sure exactly who it is, but she stood all the way up to it.
Yeah,
it's actually fullback Siobhan Maloney.
It's very brave from Oola, and like they're going to have to be brave because Drom are getting them chances. You need to stop those strikes whatever way it comes to. If it hits you in the face, just deal with it now. Look, Siobhan seems to be lying down there. She's obviously in a lot of pain, but hopefully she'll be able to continue. But just from Oola, they are getting a lot of breaks in midfield, win a lot of frees, and they just seem to be a bit careless with their kick passing from the free. You see Drom at the other end, when they have a free, they're giving it to the player that's fully on. They're not giving any 50-50 balls, not even 70-30. It's more kind of a 90-10 kind of ball they're giving, whereas Oola are kicking it to players that are relatively not open, that are being marked. And they just need to cut out that. If they can just win primary possession. It was unfortunate there that the block from Siobhan did go out to Amy Ryan, and she did seem to be in a bit of space, but that's just the way things fall. But you create your own look. and Drom are working extremely hard. They're giving Oola nothing easy, and the other side then Drom are being very, very precise with their passing, and that cuts out a lot of hard work, because Oola are working equally hard trying to win the ball back, but when everything is so precise and concise and to the hands and into the chest, it's not to the either side of you, it's very hard to defend against that. So Oola just need to be a bit more careful with the ball. If it means holding onto the ball, going across the field and the halfway, so be it. Just need to get a bit of possession, get players comfortable on the ball, because they've had very little possession in the first 21 minutes here, Tom.
Yeah, and Dimna, just to pick up that point, Oola had a lot of frees in the last few minutes in around the middle third. As a forward, you may know yourself, you need to make a decent run. Sometimes you're not going to get the ball, but you need to make that run, create space for your teammates, try and create space for yourself, because there's no point in a midfielder taking a free, looking up and giving a 50-50 ball.
No, you need the inside forwards, I suppose, in the half forward line to be making those runs to make it an easy option. But again, look, I think Drom have that mastered. As Jack said, everything's going to the player in the best position, and that's where they're getting their scores from.
Yeah, and thankfully Siobhan Maloney is okay to continue, and the ball works its way inside, but an overcooked pass there, and Ciara McCarthy, oh well, she spills it. McCarthy kicks it on the ground. The referee whistled in the lips. He's going to let it continue. I thought the Oola player might have been fouled there as she was picking it, but Ciara McCarthy gets away with that one, spilling the ball on her way out. Underemployed player, it must be said so far, as the ball switches inside to Sarah Shanahan. Shanahan again, my two co-commentators saying just always finding the player in the best position, the player who is most open, and the ball spilled inside there, but Shanahan continued her run and she gathers it. She just looks back. There's plenty of communication, you can hear bits of it from our position, plenty of communication in the Drom forwards. They're not wasting much possession. Ball comes back to Laura Stack, but she's challenged well there by an Oola defender, but Stack somehow manages to gather it, and the ball back with Saoirse McCarthy, yet to get into score she's McCarthy, but that won't bother her as her side leads. And back to Stack again, recycled. Oola filtering numbers back, but coming onto it now is Caoimhe Sheehan, and Sheehan just dips over the crossbar. The goalkeeper Karen O'Dwyer was worried there, but again, Jack, the patience I think is something that I'm really really fond of in this Drom Broadfod team. They're not taking on a shot when it's not on. Yeah,
huge composure, and I suppose it comes with having played a county final last year, that they're not overawed by the occasion. They're just taking this as another game. But I think in the last 10-15 minutes, Sarah Shannon has really come into the game. Perfect midfield role, knitting play together. Now Oola on the attack here, Tom, so I'll throw back to you.
Anna O'D, plenty of space for Anna as pace the burn does Anna, and draws a defender, passes it off. Ball switches inside to Amy Ryan. Oh no, it's into the back of the net! And that's just the response that Oola needed. And it's a midfielder, in fact, Cuilan Fahy, found herself unmarked in around the square, didn't get her possession, that didn't bother her, right footed, poked it into the back of the net. Just the tonic Dimna that Oola needed. We're back to a one score game.
Yeah, definitely, it was a well taken goal by Cuilan, but definitely that'll really bring Oola back into the game now, and hopefully they'll be able to drive on from this.
Yeah, we hope those of you on the stream watching can tell by the roar that there is plenty of people from the Doon and Oola and the surrounds there supporting their side. There's a large contingent over to our right hand side, and you may have heard them there when that ball reached the back of the net. So 1-5 to 1-2, and that's just what Oola needed. A well taken goal. It was well worked by Anna O'D, it must be said. She created the opening, ran straight through the middle, popped it off, ball played across the square, and Cuilan Fahy didn't stop her run. And here's her midfield partner Emma Kennedy onto possession, but Kennedy pops it inside towards Fahy. It looks to be, it's a defender's ball, and the referee has halted proceedings here. It's going to be a free out, I think. So with 5 minutes of normal time left in this opening half. You can see below us that Richard Bowles and his backroom team just having a bit of a discussion, seeing what they can do to try and cut that gap even further before the interval. Another injured party. The physios on both sides have been busy. A reminder, as I said already, the senior final coming up at 2:15 throw-in, and we'll have a new name on the cup following St Ailbe's loss last week with Mona Gay are into the final, and they'll place Ballylander. So an intriguing game in prospect. So it's going to be an indirect free, I think, to Oola. Ball switched across, well taken there. Can they work another score here now and cut this gap back to maybe 2 points or even level it up with a goal? That's better patience from Oola, and it's Gemma O'Dwyer switches it inside. A right-footed shot. Just tried to force the issue there, and it skews away to the right. A third wide now for Oola. Jack, you mentioned at the water break cutting the gap, and Oola with that goal have done that. They're back to 3. They'll be looking to just cut that down to maybe 2 or 1 even before the break.
Yeah, cut it down and just keep the ball here in Drum's half and have a bit more sustained pressure. So after winning the kick out there, which they haven't won many in the first half, and the ball went back now, so just keep that pressure going, be building towards the half. There's still a good 5 minutes left. Yeah,
the NOD coming into this game, it must be said, and for one of a very rare occasion, a kick out put under severe pressure by Oola, and they reaped rewards now with a free about 42 metres out here on this touchline, and it's going to be Gemma O'Dwyer, and she looks for the run of Chloe O'Brien. O'Brien back to O'Dwyer. Again, that's much better from Oola, as goal scorer Quillan Fahy's pass just eludes another Oola attacker, and no, that's for a poor pass by Drom Broadfod. Pop back inside, skips past one, and it's Chloe O'Brien. Can she take on her score here? She sends it right footed. That's going to curl, is it not? It's gone into the hands of fullback Maeve McCarthy. McCarthy popping it out, and a chance for Drum to launch an attack. They've been under a bit of pressure, it must be said, since that goal, and the ball played inside to Olive Lenihan, and good tenacious defending there, but the ball is loose and she picks it up at the second attempt. Does she have any runners? It's in fact blocked for the game's first 45. Good defending there by Laura Hayes, blocking that one out. 28 minutes now played here. And the first 45, of course, 2 points for a 45 scored, but I'm not sure, are we going to see that here today as Laura Stack lines it up? What do you think should do with this, Dimna?
Yeah, I'm no doubt she should be looking for Anya inside in the full forward line.
Well, she turns around, plays it backwards, and just about possession retention as Anya O'Sullivan gets onto it. Here is Stack, happy now with the ball in her hand, and plays it inside to Cunningham. And she switches play over to this side to Caoimhe Sheehan, the scorer of the last point for Drum, their 5th, and she plays a hand pass, goes for the return, doesn't get it, but comes to Sarah Sheehan. This is Stack, who started to move with that 45, skips through a couple of challenges, much better pressure from Oola, and it's a third wide now for Drom Broadfod. Jack, they got the numbers back there for the 45. They kept them back, and they just forced the issue in a poor wide from Stack.
Yeah, and look, we didn't see Drum taking on them shots earlier on in the half, but they've kicked a couple of wides now. But looking at this kick out, Drum are very far pushed up, and they win it in fairness, but like it's hard work there for Oola to be getting back and getting forward.
Yeah, again, there's 3-2 there, and the 3 of Drom Broadfod come away with it through Saoirse McCarthy. Skips inside, but McCarthy gets it back from Sheehan and goes across to Sarah Sheehan, that is now, and it's another chance here off the left foot. It's going to go wide. It's to the right hand side and wide, a 4th wide, and a little bit of composure now eluding Drom Broadfod. They'll be looking to join the 6 sides already in the senior championship, winning last year's championship, but there was no promotion or relegation, so they have a rare opportunity to defend an intermediate title, and so far they're on course to do so. 3 points to the good as we do now enter first half stoppage time. How much we have, we're not sure, but a couple of minutes now for Oola to try and clear their lines and get a score of their own, but again their kick out is not good, and it's Saoirse McCarthy who wins it. Laura Stack met by 2 and indeed 3 Oola players, so she has to go back to Sheehan. Oola with a lot of numbers back, in fact 13 players inside their own 45, and player finds herself on the ground, but it's Alana Mulcahy. Again, Drum looking to just work the hand passes and create an opening, but the strength in numbers work this time for Oola. Can they launch a quick counter attack? They look to do so now through Anna O'Dea. Again, the ball is just not sticking in that middle area, and the referee gives a free to Emma Kennedy, and Kennedy's free is to the forward, and it's working up through the middle now. That's the corner forward, Laney Stokes. Stokes, haven't seen much of Stokes so far. Pops it off towards Chloe O'Brien. And the referee blows the whistle. O'Brien was on it. I think he's going to give a free out. He is.
Yeah, I think Kathleen Bradshaw gets intertwined with her marker there. I don't know how intentional it was, but there was definitely a goal on for Oola, and like that's a killer for them.
Yeah, I think
it was so unintentional, but look, by the letter of the law, it was a free.
I think in basketball they call that a screen, Jack. Is that what it's called? Intentional, accidental, whatever it is. The referee, Mr. Mark Murphy, has decided it was worthy of a foul and a chance for Drom Broadfod to clear their lines, and they do now. And it's Sarah Sheehan over on that far touchline. Just about stays in play. In fact, she doesn't. She carries it out. She seems perplexed. She decides to just throw the ball away. A little bit of frustration as we're now early. We're just 2 minutes of stoppage time played. Can Oola finish the half, adding to that goal? No score since for either side, so we still remain at 3 points. And the ball pop back across. And there is the half-time whistle from Mark Murphy. The scoreboard will read Drom Broadfod 1-5, Oola 1-2. A very interesting opening half. Jack, your thoughts on the 32 or 33 minutes of action we saw so far? Drom, I suppose, worthy enough of their lead, it must be said.
Yeah, it has been a very interesting half. Drom have probably dominated position in all honesty. There was a brilliant score straight away from Kathleen Bradshaw that looked to set the scene for Oola, but Drom replied with a pair of points, and from there they haven't really looked back. They did go 1-5 to 2 points ahead, and you're thinking this could be unassailable, but we said it at the first water break, that if Oola could reduce the lead, it was 5 at that first water break, if they could reduce the lead, they'd be very happy, and they did just that with a goal. And I must say that I thought it was Kellen Fahey, but looking back now, I think it was actually Kathleen Bradshaw that got the last kick of the game. We'll check there at half, but they got that goal, and it has really turned the tide. Drom have kicked a couple of points, so that'll add to Oola's momentum. Even though Drom are attacking, anytime you kick a wide, it gives the other team a bit of a boost. So look, when you look at that Oola side, their marquee player Amy Ryan hasn't got onto the ball at all so far. So look, they'll be wanting to get Amy onto the ball, make her presence known, because she's an excellent footballer. But at the end of the day, Drom, if they can just cut out a few of those errors they were making in front of goal, they're still creating a numerous amount of chances. They've kicked 1-5, they've probably kicked another 4 wides, whereas Oola have kicked 1-2 and probably only have a couple of wides. So Drom have been fairly dominant, but they're only going in with it, like, their play deserves more than a 3-point lead. So Oola will be relatively happy with the first half.
Yeah, in fact, just a confirmation. Apologies to Kathleen Bradshaw. We were denying her a goal in the county final. She did indeed score it. I do apologise for that, because the Oola numbers on the back are the same colour as the jersey, and just a mix up in personnel there. So Kathleen Bradshaw finished that to the net. She continued her run into the square, and it wasn't Quillan Fahey as we first thought. So Kathleen Bradshaw with a crucial goal. She'll be hoping to add to that. She's 1-1 to her name now. And didn't come to you. You'd obviously like to be in the Drom Broadfod camp at the half here, but there's still hope for Oola, it must be said.
Yeah, and I suppose they've just started coming into the game there towards the end, and I suppose the goal came at a good time for them. They've driven on since, and I suppose they probably have Drom Broadfod panicking a bit, and I think you can see a bit of panic setting into Drom Broadfod. They've started kicking shots now, and they're dropping them short, and again, they'll be disappointed that they're not more up at half time, but again, half-time has come at a good time for Oola. I think Richard and his team will have them together now and, go through a few things with them, and I think it'll be a total different second half.
Yeah, so still all to play for here. A reminder once again that at 2:15 we'll be on a slightly different link on the Sporting Limerick Facebook, but it'll be the Tridental Limerick Senior Ladies Football Championship Final, a meeting of Monaghay and Ballylander, so do stay tuned for that one. Promises to be cracking contest. Matt O'Callaghan will be joining myself and Rebecca DeLee to provide analysis and insight on that one. Just as to look ahead slightly to that game, Jack, that you were at one of the semi-finals last week. That promises to be, a very intriguing county final. After the county champion St Elby's dethroned last week, so Monaghay and Ballylanders, they'll probably be looking at it saying, well, it's pretty much a 50-50 game. Whoever can probably stamp their authority on it early on might have enough.
Yeah, I can only talk from Monaghay's point of view, because I was at that semi-final obviously during the same time, and it's just one thing from the COVID. It's very unfortunate that these games are clashing, but looking at Monaghan, like they'd have thrown St. Ailbe's, but to be fair, and Ailbe's admit this, they absolutely dominated from the very first whistle in Clarina. They kicked the first score. I think Katrina Davis got a free, and then Karen O'Leary could have got a goal. She was pulled down in the process, kicking it over the bar. And they were just exceptional. Their running power, their composure on the ball, and for a team that is laden with Newcastle Camogie players that are playing in a county final next weekend, their fitness levels are incredible. They were 1-8 and no score up at half time. And when do you ever hear of defending county champions not score in a semi-final? It was just that dominant. So from what I saw from Monaghan, that they have to be favourites going in against Ballylanders. But they beat Ballylanders in the semi-final last year, I think the semi-final year before and the final year before that. But Ballylanders did win when they met in 2017. So it's a third final between the pair in 5 years, and it could be the deciding one. It's hard to call. Like Ballylanders are next inside, but Monaghan I thought were exceptional in their win over St. Ailbe's. But again, Ballylanders have a lot of players that have won county titles. Obviously Monaghan do as well. So it'll be a game where neither team will be overawed by the occasion. They'll know all about county final day, and it should be a very, very exciting game.
Yeah, it promises to be. And if you just look at the roll of honour, 5 county titles won between them, 2 for Monaghan in 2014 and 2018, and 3 in a row for Ballylanders, 2015, 16 and 17. So plenty of talent, I'm sure, from those games still on the show. And of course, new talent, I'm sure, has sprung up in both camps in the last few years. Dimna, your thoughts on that final? Two very good teams, as Jack said, laden with talent in both camogie and ladies football, so promises to be a cracker.
Yeah, definitely promises to be a cracker, but again, as Jack said, Monaghan would probably be fancy to come out on top today. They have some really good players. They play a great brand of football, and I know that the boys that are over them, they've really been training hard, and I think it'll come down to who wants it more, and I think Monaghan will just want to win it more today.
Talk to me about playing dual. I know yourself playing both codes. It's a challenge for players nowadays because the nature of, well, especially given COVID, that the championships were so condensed and they overlap, and you have to play. I spoke to another player in another club who maybe was facing potentially 13 weeks in a row on the trot, if they were successful in both codes. So it is a challenge for both players to switch codes, to get training, get recovery. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it is hard, and I suppose the important thing would be that the management would be talking to each other, not to burn out the players. And I think that probably does go on more now so than ever before, and which is a good thing for the players. But because if you're out week on week and you're training 5 nights a week, you become burnt out. And I think that there's probably a better system in place now with managers talking so that they're not burning out players. And I think it's evident when you look down at the Drom Broadfod team there. They have a lot of players playing with Kaleedy Camogie and would have played County Camogie, and I suppose they look a really fit team. All the Camogie girls, again, they'd be training probably 4 nights a week, but again, they probably take a rest night as well, which is good for them.
Yeah, so you mentioned Newcastle West Camogie. Well, they'll be facing a county final next week, but a lot of their players involved with different clubs, some of them with Monaghan, so they'll be hoping that there's a potential double on the cards, and that'll start hopefully for them at 2:15. So still enjoying the half time here at the Two Scale Grounds. A decent crowd from both clubs supporting this one. Drom Broadfod managed to name no fewer than 43 players on the panel, including a couple of 3 or 4 players that are out injured. I suppose the benefits of having a junior B team, and Oola for their part managed to name 31. So a big day for both parishes, both communities and both clubs. So fantastic that they can name so many players, and that indeed ladies football continues to flourish in both areas. So one of them will be hoping that they will be doing next year with a junior B team and of course a senior team. Drom Broadfod well indeed in the driving seat for that one. Oola, well, they've come up from the junior A ranks in 2016, and Drom for their part, well, they were Division 2 league winners in 2018, and they won the intermediate championship in 2016. Yeah, and make sure that you just put your name in the comments or where you're watching from. And thanks to Keith Fahey, who's happy enough with the picture quality, it must be said. Plenty of people watching from around the county. We've Sinead Kiley in hospital. So hope it's going the way you expected, Sinead, and you enjoy the second half. and make sure you stay tuned for the senior game. So do get in touch, and a reminder that if you're in touch with someone else in social media who may not be watching, just tag them in the comments, and they'll be able to jump on the stream and watch the second half of this contest. So we'll just take a bit of a breather here as both sides remain on the pitch in their huddles. Thankfully the weather hasn't affected this too much. We don't necessarily need the dressing rooms at half time here in the two Scale of Crowns, so we'll just take a couple of minutes of a breather, and we'll be back with the second half very, very shortly. So do stay on the channel. You're very welcome back to the two Gaelic Grounds, the second half of the Three Dental Limerick Intermediate Football Championship final. The scoreboard on your screen will show that is Drom Broadfod in the driving seat, 1-5 to 1-2, but just 1 point from the first half water break to half time, and Oola coming up with a goal of their own. So the contest still very much in the balance, a one score game as the sides trickle their way back into their positions. Oola, a reminder, playing the second half from right to left, attacking the Ennis Road end of the ground, the Cardavan end, if you will, and football is thrown in. So Drom Colour Broadford looking to defend their title and get their way into the senior rank, which they were in a couple of years ago, but find themselves back in the second tier. Oola, for their part, have never played senior ladies football and will be hoping to do so for the very first time in 2022, but they're going to need a bit of a comeback here. Just waiting the umpires to get their way back to their positions.
Taking their time there, Tom, to get back in.
Yeah, they must have got a cup of tea that we didn't, or
we're too high up for that.
So looks like we are ready to go as the referee Mark Murphy throws the ball in, and Oola gather possession of it. A reminder, Kathleen Bradshaw with that goal, correction from what we had earlier stated, but so Kathleen Bradshaw's goal keeps this contest very much in the melting pot into the second half as Drom Broadford come up with possession, and the ball blocked down, and a chance for Oola to get the opening score of the second half. They opened the game with a point in the very first minute. They'll be hoping to repeat the trick here after the interval as the ball comes across, and Maeve McCarthy gathers at the second attempt, just about flicked it over her opponent, and a chance now through Laura Stack to launch an attack, and the ball comes out to Sarah Sheehan. Sheehan met by an Oola defender and goes direct inside to her captain, Anya Cunningham. Cunningham somehow looked second favourite for it, but comes away with it, pops it into Stack. Stack, the Drom Broadford goal scorer in that first half, chance of a point, and it's sent in, and it's skews to the right and wide from Sarah Shanahan. Disappointing effort. That is a fifth wide now for Drom Broadford, 4 in the first half. Oola for their part with 3 imprecisions, as some folks say, and a chance now for Oola to clear their lines, but the ball goes straight to Sarah Sheehan. So Sheehan into Cunningham. Cunningham will favour her left foot, so will she jink out of a tackle here and get it onto her left? She does, but she's some bit stopped in on her way. Great block down there, and the ball comes back to Gemma Barrett. Barrett back to McCarthy. Cross to Stack, and Stack, great ball across by Stack and off the right foot, but once again the ball has found its way narrowly wide, and I recall in last year's intermediate final, Dimpna, that I think Drom might have clocked up as many as 21 wides, if my memory serves correct. They'll be hoping that their wides don't come to cost them this year.
Yeah, and there were two, I suppose, easy chances there for Drom that they drove wide. The first one, there was probably, if she had just taken a second longer and just looked to her left, there was a player off her shoulder and with nobody on her, so there would possibly a goal chance there, but they'd be disappointed now not to have a score on the board after half time.
Yeah, Coughlin finds midfielder, I think it's Quillan Fahy, through a couple of challenges, and a free awarded to Oola.
And that all came from a short kick out, Tom, there, and if that's what Karen O'Dwyer has to do to get out of defence, it's something that the Oola fullbacks are comfortable taking the ball in, and look at them now, like, you just have to win that primary possession. If it means going short, you just go short.
Yeah, ball popped inside to the corner forward position, and a chance for Oola to try and cut that gap back to 2 points. Advantage being played. Is it going to come? No advantage accruing, and a chance from about 30 metres out. Favourable enough for a free taker on either foot, and a chance for Oola to cut that.
Kathleen Bradshaw is going over to take it.
Kathleen Bradshaw, goal and a point to her name already. So Bradshaw, I think she's got one thing on her mind, is that a shot at the post. It's going to go short, it's going to go in around the house. Fisted to the back of the net! Oh, in fact, the referee, he's going in to have a look. The flag has been waved. The flag has been waved. The goal, according to the umpire, is good. The referee consults the two umpires. High drama here in the Gaelic Grounds. The scoreboard in the Gaelic Grounds says 2-2 to 5. And it looks like it's going to stand. It is. We have a level game here. Yeah, the referee, Mark Murphy, allows it. It's a second goal for Oola. We are level, 2-2 to 1-5. The flag is waved again just for interest. There's an Oola player thrown on the floor. That is Kathleen Fitzgibbon. The play continues. And chance now for Sarah Sheehan. And the referee stops things. They're just going to confirm who that goal was. It was a free from Kathleen Bradshaw. Went in, was pushed to the back of the net.
Yeah,
it's a great goal. I'd say it was Anna Ryan that scored it. To me, it looks like Anna Ryan got to the end of that ball, and again, it was a really well taken goal by Anna.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, and you'd wonder, was Kathleen dropping in there to level up proceedings, or was she going for the point? But an excellent finish inside there. And look, the sides are level, and you would have said probably 10 minutes before the half that Drom probably thought they were as good as home and hose, just had to see out the game. But we're level, and that's something Oola do, is that they score a lot of goals. They scored 2 in their first game. They scored 1 against Drom when they met previously. They scored 4 against Father Casey's and scored 1 last weekend as well. So, like, they are a side that have goals in them, and, like, momentum has completely swung. And I don't want to harp on too much about the importance of kickouts, but Carradore win short. They played up through the lines. They won a free. They won another free and closer to goal and scored a goal from it. And it's so important to win your own primary position, and Oola are right in the game now.
Yeah, the referee is having a word with Sarah Sheehan. Seemed to be involved in something off the ball with Kathleen Fitzgibbon. Although the referee, it must be said, didn't deal with it at that time. So NOD's goal has us level at 2-2 to 1-5. And Oola have fought their way back into this contest. And there's a yellow card there, and into the sin bin goes Sarah Sheehan. So 10 minutes in the bin from her. And massive couple of minutes, massive momentum swing. Down to 14 now and level game.
Yeah, and I suppose Sarah has been playing extremely well all day, and it's disappointing for her, I suppose, to end up here for 10 minutes. But I know that when she comes on, that she'll play a big part. Yeah,
Oola preparing their first sub of the afternoon, but chance now for Drom to reply to that goal and that yellow card with something of their own. Referee, well, he was about to blow, but he allows play to go on, and it's Anya Cunningham And Drom will going to try and stem the tide. The ball with Cunningham. A sea of Oola defenders with her. There's another chance now. Stack off the right foot, but one of those Oola defenders, I think it was Chloe O'Brien back there, that comes up with a great block. Amy Ryan, team captain. Can she drive her side into the lead for the first time since they got the opening score of the game? She's tripped on her way through. And the referee, well, the volume has just gone up in the Gaelic rounds. It's Oola now who are cheering loudest. Momentum, Jack, very much with them. The two goals really are the latest two scores of the game have been their 2 goals. So they've gone from 6 points down to level game, and they're a player up now.
Yeah, and I could hardly hear you a second ago, Tom, with just the noise inside here, and it's all come from the Oola crowd, and rightly so, as you said. They've gone from being 6 down to level, and they're attacking, and it all started from a brilliant block there from Gemma O'Dwyer. Laura Stack looked like she was going to score, and now it's Oola on the other end looking like they're going to get a goal or a score.
Yeah, ball switched across. Can they retake the lead? Oh, another great block down. We've seen exhibitions of that today as Keelan Fahy comes onto it. Referee halts proceedings as another block in the face by, I think, Niamh McCarthy. So, just
a bit of respite for Drom. It's no harm for Niamh. Obviously, she got a belt into the face, but it's no harm for the Drom contingent to go down, waste a bit of time. It might be seen as cynical. Obviously, I don't think Niamh is doing it out of cynical nature, but
I think that's what you're trying to say, Jack.
No, but in the next 10 minutes, and I've said it before, if you're down to 14 players, you need to eat into that clock, whatever way you do. If you get a free, you're slowing it down. If the ball is on the sideline, you're slowing it down. You're doing everything at a slower pace. Now, we've seen in the past the teams that go down to 14 are more tuned in and play better. We saw it with Kadayan Penaskinnery in the intermediate men's equivalent, that when they went down to 14, they dictated proceedings against Rackeel. So for Drom, they'll be hoping for something like that. But you see here now on the sideline, Kathleen Fitzgibbon, who would have been a direct marker of Sarah Sheehan, is completely on her own. And it's just Drom have to be very conscious of where that spare man is, and that they're not in or a spare girl is, that they're not in a position to score or get on the score sheet.
Substitution there on the Oola team, and Fiona Bradshaw has replaced Laura Hay. So a defensive switch, just fresh legs. No harm at this point. We're nearly at the I suppose 2/3 mark of this contest as Drom come up with possession. There's acres and acres of space, and the referee halts the game due to an injury. So we will resume with an opportunity for it's going to be Drom Broadfod who are going to play the free. And you can definitely feel the tension on the sideline, in the stands, among the players has gone up since that goal, and indeed that yellow card to Sarah Sheehan.
Huge work right there by Anya Cunningham, who has been in the corner for the majority of the game and gotten a lot of ball, but she's seen now that Sarah Sheehan has gone off. She worked back there, and this is a big difference I saw with Drom. Very good at getting into position very quickly. I saw Sarah Shanahan just sprint up into centre forward role there while there was a break, whereas in the first half Oola were kind of crowding the area where the ball is. Drummer making huge room. So that's something that Drummer's still doing now. They'll have to work that bit harder with only 14 players on the field, but they're going well, and it's probably 2 or 3 minutes now since Sarah's gone off, so they've done well so far. If they can maintain, they will be delighted if it's still level by the time Sarah comes back on, because while it's a huge blow now for the 10 minutes, it'll be a huge boost when she does invariably come on.
Yeah, 35-41 on the stadium clock when that yellow card was issued, thereabouts. So we're kind of approaching halfway through that, and Drom breaking even so far as an Oola player is prone on the deck. So I think we're going to resume with an indirect free to Drom Broadfod, as Roisin Cunningham is going through what looks like to be the final preparations on the sideline here. A change in the offing so for Drom. And we've actually just got confirmation, must be said, thanks to Jerome O'Connell of the Limerick leader, Lainey Stokes with that second goal. She fisting it to the net after Leah Coughlin's free was dropped short, and question marks over square ball, but the umpires were adamant that she did not infringe. She pushed the ball beyond Ciara McCarthy for a crucial second goal. So Lainey Stokes adds her name to the score sheet. Herself and Kathleen Bradshaw 13 and 15 with a goal apiece, and they find themselves level. So on indeed does come Roisin Cunningham, and off goes Gemma Barty full forward. Didn't really happen for Gemma as she may have liked today, but a chance now for Roisin Cunningham to add her name, I suppose, to the impressive list of forwards on the Drum side. A chance now for Anya Cunningham. Cunningham familiar style, soloing, hopping her way through the middle. She's gone 30-40 metres with it now. She's still going, spills it but gathers it again, and a chance now for Sarah Shanahan. She's probably not going to take on a shot from there. She recycles it, and the ball back here, but it looks like a red and white jersey is coming up and trumps here, and a chance for a counter-attack of their own for Oola. Delicately poised county final, level game here at the two Scala grounds, and the ball is with Emma Kennedy. There's a bit of a scrum developing. Referee happy enough to let it continue, and too many steps. I think that's the first time this afternoon we've had that. And another free in around the middle third for Drom Cullerher, and it's Laura Stack. 1-1 in the first half. We haven't seen her threaten those posts since then. A bit of a miscommunication there with her teammate, and it allows Oola to swoop in and gather possession. Well, again the ball is turned over. Mark Murphy happy to let the play continue. Switched across here. It's hard to see at times where that extra player is for Oola, but it's Sarah Shanahan who is dispossessed.
Brilliant there by Amy Ryan. Just pure work rate to get in there and get the block in by Sarah Shanahan.
Yeah, our captain leading by example was Amy Ryan, and great ball into the corner, and it's Anna O'Dea. O'Dea skips out of a couple of challenges. Great run by O'Dea. Can she put her side in front? O'Dea continuing towards the goal. Has to come back to Emma Kennedy, and Kennedy, she's going to switch it across to Leah Coughlin. Coughlin looks for the shoulder runner, and she does find one. Off the right foot, it's going to go to the right-hand side and wide. A first wide of the second half. That's fourth wide now for Oola, so that count is 6-4 in favour of, well, not in favour, but 6-4 for Drom. Drom kicking the more, and they've had more in the second half, as I think a little eager is Sarah Sheehan trying to get back into the contest. She has, by my calculations, just over 2 minutes to wait before she can be reintroduced. A chance now. There's a short pull there. Referee allowing advantage in around the squares. There's another chance of a third goal here for Oola. She hits the deck. The referee allows play on. In fact, he's blown the whistle. And, well, he allowed advantage in the first instance. He was happy enough there was no foul the second time round. And it looks like he's just stopped it because he thought it was an injury. Yeah,
I definitely agree that it wasn't the foul inside there. Brilliant defending by Drom, because Kathleen Bradshaw looked like she was on goal for a second. He's consulting the umpire, but I'd imagine it's going to be just a free out from Broadford, and just in case it was a head injury, our referee stopped play.
Yeah, indeed it is. It's just going to be, as you say, an indirect free, and the ball resumed. But the Oola physio does well to skip over it. And again, tenacious enough stuff from the Drom players. Again, there's a crowd of Drom players on it, and referee indicates that Kathleen Fitzgibbon was fouled.
You mentioned there a minute ago, Tom, it's hard to see where that extra player is, but you can definitely feel the influence that just Oola seem to have more players in general around the field. I don't think they have anyone assigned to the extra player, maybe the centre back, Miriam Hayes, but they just seem to be all over Drom at the moment.
Yeah, that extra player though will be coming to an end in about 60 seconds or so time. Of course, the ball will have to go to play first for that to happen, as ball is with Emma Kennedy. Kennedy though turned over, and a chance for Drom Broadford now through Anya Cunningham. Again, we've seen this so many times today. She just puts on the her running shoes, skips by a couple of challenges, met by inter-county teammate Amy Ryan, and good defending by Ryan, but it finds its way back to Laura Stack, and she sends the ball across the field. Is there a runner on this one? There is popped inside to corner forward Olive Lenihan. This is a dangerous opportunity here. Will we have a fourth goal? We won't even have a point. It's gone to the left and wide. Third wide of this second half for Drom. Very disappointing. That's a third poor wide, it must be said. Now, sometimes wides, well, I suppose they're all poor really, but in particular the Drom ones in the second half have been, they could prove costly.
Yeah, it was a bad wide from Saoirse. She had a few extra yards ahead of her. She could have probably gone a little bit further with a goal opportunity on. But again, Oola are very much on top here, and I'm sure Drom will look forward to the water break coming in a few minutes.
Yeah, we may have the water break at the end of this passage of play. Drom will be back to 15, but will they be ahead? Will they be behind? Will they be level? Chance for Oola. Again, their passing is sticking that little bit better now in the second half. There's 6-7 Drom defenders there, and one of them is going to come away with it. What can they do now? Can they launch another attack? Great run by Anya Cunningham. She seems to be everywhere since they've gone down a player, trying to make up for that. And she pops it across to corner forward Olive Lenihan. Lenihan, though, is beaten to it. And a chance for Oola. Again, still playing with an extra player, so they'll be hoping to keep the ball in play until they get that score advantage, and there is the free. So now, well, still no sign of Sarah Sheehan returning to the action. So we've, yeah, and there he is, Sarah Sheehan. Got that yellow card just after the equalising goal, so she'll be eager to come in and right that wrong. Another free. There are a lot of sloppy fouls in around the middle from both, in the middle kind of third of the pitch for both sides. Oola, though, the message may have been clear to make those frees stick. Well, just about this one will, as it comes back to Creelan Fahy. Switched across to Chloe O'Brien. And again, that's much better from Oola. We didn't see much of that in the first half, which was why they were 3 behind at the break. It's 30-40 metres out. That's a dangerous one. That's bounced in and bounced over the bar. Bizarre enough, it's Gemma O'Dwyer. I think she was going for it, but it was bizarre that the ball bounced in and over the bar.
Yeah, it was a great run from Gemma, and I suppose Gemma is known for that, but look, absolute super score, and they're 1 point up now.
Yeah, they're back in the lead. They led the very first score of the game, but since then they have been chasing their Western rivals, Drumcolour Broadford. So Gemma O'Dwyer with, I suppose, amazing enough run up the field. Sends it in. It looked to be like it might be tailing to the left, but bounced even in this November conditions over the bar for the lead score. So 2-3 to 1-5, and again Oola with all the numbers, all the fight that's needed to try and win a county final. And the ball recycled from Leo Coughlin. Again, there's nothing in front of Emma Kennedy, so she has to go back to Lainey Stokes, and Stokes scored that crucial second goal. Finds that was Anna O'D. Can they further increase that advantage? Should have the water break momentarily. Chance now for Stokes. Across to Amy Ryan. We haven't seen her on the score sheet yet. Amy Ryan, it was a decent enough effort, but didn't get the required height for the point, and gathered well by Ciara McCarthy. So can Drum, haven't scored. They've scored 1 point since the first half water break. That's all 30 minutes ago in terms of football action. So 1 point in 30 minutes simply may not be enough to win you a county final, but they're still well in this contest. And pull back there by Gemma O'Dwyer, I think it was, on Sarah Shanahan. And a bit of composure needed now by Drum.
It'll be very important for Drum here to just get the ball to go dead if they could get a score better, but just that they can get that water break and reassess, because they've worked very hard in this quarter.
Yeah. Well, Roisin Cunningham was definitely second best to that ball, but wasn't gathered by the Oola defender. Cunningham picks it up and is fouled, and free about 23 metres out over on that left hand side, and an opportunity. Dimna is a player who took many a free in her day. You'd fancy your chances from here, albeit that things aren't really going Drum's way. You just got to settle yourself down, and execute this and get your side level, presumably at the water break.
Yeah, it's a hard one to take. I suppose your side down, you're a point down coming into before the water break. So I think whoever will stand up to take it, will probably be Laura. She'll be under a bit of pressure to get it over from this distance out. But again, I'll be surprised if she doesn't. But again, it is a nice distance out. But I still fancy her to put it over the bar.
Yeah, like any good free taker, she's trying to steal a metre or two, and I think she successfully has, because she's now on the 20 with it. So let's see what she can do from here. Stack right-footed, and she has leveled the game up. 50 minutes on the clock. There is the water break. 50 minutes and to 30 seconds or so as the clock comes to a halt here in the LIT Gaelic Grounds. We're deadlocked on the score sheet, 1-6 to 2-3. And Oola, must be said, have grown into this contest. A disappointing opening quarter, but since then they have outscored their opponents 2-2 to just 2 points. So they've really turned the tables, but it's all to play for. And Jack, your opinion before the game was for Oola. Dimpna went with Drum. No one was going to call the draw. Is it too late for me to say it's going to be a draw after 60 minutes?
It's definitely too late to call it, but I don't imagine that you're not going to go. I imagine that you are going to call it to be a draw, but I think we will have a winner in normal time. I think there's scoring to be done in the last 15 minutes. bodies are starting to tire, and I did mention before the game that they did play semi-finals last weekend, and semi-finals take an awful lot out of players. It'll be probably come down to stamina. Drom used an awful lot there in that 15 or 10 minutes that Sarah Sheehan was gone. You can see it down there now. They're just trying to rehydrate. Like in a county final, you'll give it everything for the last 10 minutes, and there will only be 10 minutes thereabouts to play. It's a very late water break, so if you think there's going to be 15 or so to play, it'll probably be only 10 minutes. But that being said, Oola dominated that third quarter, and they're still only level, and that will give great hope to Drom Broadfod. And Oola will be thinking, we control that, and we're still not ahead. So there will probably be a few doubts creeping into their mind, but then again, after getting over semi-final, they know how to win these big games. So it's very hard to call, and I'd imagine they're going to go with a draw, Tom.
I know I'm not. I think there will be a winner one way or another. Who it is, well, I'll tell you in about 10 or 15 minutes' time. I'm going to sit on the fence for the time being, but it's delicately poised, to say the least. Drom had a 6-point advantage, but Oola did not throw in the towel, and they'll be looking to go a little bit better than their men's team did here in the senior men's football final a couple of years ago when they were defeated by Newcastle West. So they'll be trying to bring a bit of silverware back to that side of Limerick, the Doon and Oola area. A lot of players, of course, from both communities, so it'll be interesting to see what they can add here in the last 10 minutes or so. A little bit late for the water break, in fairness to Mark Murphy. He tried to let things go during that period, and the ball did, of course, have to go to play, and it did with that Laura Stack free. 1-2 to her name now, if my calculations are correct. And substitutions could be the winning of this one. I think we're going to have one for a Drum as well.
Yeah, with Clodagh Reedy coming on for Drom Broadfod again. Clodagh is a really good player, and she's a lot to offer, and I'm sure she'll go in around the edge of the square. And if they get ball into Clodagh, she played the Junior B one yesterday, and I believe she scored 2-2. So again, if you get ball into Clodagh, she will do damage. And Saoirse McCarthy is also inside. But again, Oola are really back in this game, and probably Drom looked the hardest of the two teams at the minute. Oola are really pushing on, while Amy hasn't got on the scoreboard. She's really working hard, and she's coming into the game more and more. Yeah,
as Olive Lenihan is replaced by Elaine on that Drum team. So we're going to resume with an Oola kick-out. Karen O'Dwyer. Again, like the first half water break, Oola resumed with a kick-out. So I wonder, did they have a quick discussion on what to do? Well, if they did, it appears to have paid dividends. Although, well blocked down there. The hand pass blocked, and a chance now for a Drum to add a score to that point just before the water break. Can they get their noses in front? As I mentioned, last year's final, they managed to eke out a 1-point victory over Munger St. Paul's. They'll be happy enough with a 1-point victory here today. Interestingly, a chance now. The developing inside, met by a bit of an Oola wall. Chance here, the referee gives a free in. I'm not sure was there an awful lot in that, but referee Mark Murphy, in fairness to him, is an awful lot closer than I am. So from a very, very similar position, Jack, Laura Stack will have the opportunity to put her side ahead. Yeah, she couldn't have got a better audition for this free than the one she kicked there 5 minutes ago, and I imagine she'll make no mistake, and that's what she does, and gives Drum the lead again. Yeah, she doesn't hesitate. Doesn't have much of a free taking routine, but whatever she does do, it appears to work. That's her third free of the match, and a goal and 3 now to her name. She's been very impressive in open play, it must be said, as well as Oola do a little bit better on their kick out this time, but they struggled to get beyond the 45 last time. As the relentless work rate from Drom Broadfod puts up that blue wall again, and a chance for Oola. Can they skip over it? Well, it's going to go straight to a covering defender from Drom, and the ball is out to Anya O'Sullivan. Switched across to Stack to the run of Sarah Sheehan. 10 minutes in the bin, and refreshed, and a chance for her to drive on, and ball turned over again by Oola, and it's they're coming away with it. She wants her free, she gets her free, and Gemma O'Dwyer had put her side ahead. She'll be looking for another inspirational score from her or her teammates, as her free finds Leah Coughlin. Coughlin again into traffic with the pass, so slipped there from Emma Kennedy, and there's another player prone on the deck. Mark Murphy decides it's time to stop it again. Both physios have earned their free, or indeed if they're voluntary, we thank them very much, but they've been busy this afternoon, as the latest player on the deck is Laura Stack. Just got a bit of a bump there.
Yeah, it's been a very tough game, Tom. Every player out there is giving their all, and you expect nothing less on county final day, but they're a credit to both their clubs from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, 7 minutes of normal time, plus a couple of extra, I'm sure, at this point. Oola preparing a couple of substitutions. We'll bring them to you if indeed they do come onto the field of play. Chloe O'Connell is one of them. It's just going through her final bit warm up there. As the play resumes, Drom with the narrowest of leads, 10 points to 9, 1-7 to 2-3, as Anya Cunningham. Does she take too many steps? She doesn't. She skips through a couple of challenges. Very, very impressive player. Chance now, and it's straight over the crossbar. Her first point from play for Laura Stack. Well, come at the hour, come at the player. Now she's landed 2 frees and now 1 from play. You know, this is a clutch moments, I think, is what people call them in other codes. She's really delivering in the last quarter here.
Yeah, Laura's a great player, as I said, and I think she's a player for a big day. And again, 3 vital scores there in this quarter from Laura. So yeah, she's really coming into it again, and I think, you know, she'll have a massive part to play to see if Drom win this game. Yeah,
she's put them 2 to the good as Oola look to come back up. The referee decides there's nothing wrong with the defending there. And a chance now, and here it is, the aforementioned Stack. She's won a couple of All-Ireland club titles in Camogie with Milford, the Cork club. So ball played inside, great take there by Cunningham inside the inside forward line. Is there a push in the back? There wasn't. It's play on. There's 5 Oola players back there now, and one of them comes up with it. Crucial turnover there, because they could indeed have found themselves a second goal, could Drom. And a chance now through Leah Coughlin, breaking up the middle. And Coughlin steps back inside to Amy Ryan, her captain. She's been some bit quiet by her own very high standards, but she links the play well here. Will she be an option for the return? Ball is played direct in over the corner back, but there's going to be a blue jersey again, which just everywhere they go there is 3 or 4 Drum players. Their positioning has been quite good as Laura Stack gathers at the second attempt, skips past Amy Ryan, skips past the midfielder Emma Kennedy, and Oola's passing now back to the levels we saw in the opening quarter as the ball is broken away, and chance now for Oola through Kathleen Fitzgibbon. Skips inside. Passes have to stick at this late stage. There can't be any Hail Mary passes. Amy Ryan puts on the burners, spills it, loses it, and once again we've and the Drum player coming away with it, and they'll be looking to just make it a complete 1 score game, or a 1 goal game, I should say. Try and get that another point. They've 3 on the trot through Laura Stack, 2 frees, 1 either side of the water break, and that point from play a few minutes ago as Oola preparing a substitute beneath us. So can they have a super sub and a hero in this county final? In fact, 2 subs readying themselves for the East Limerick club. So this is Leah Coughlin, goes back inside. The work rate from both sides, and in particular Drum, as back all the way here is Anya Cunningham, putting her hand up, in my opinion, for player of the match, but she's been very impressive in possession, and her work rate is matching it too, as Clodagh Reedy is turned over. 11 points to 9. Will we have a third Oola goal to swing the contest back in their favour once again? And OD goes past a couple of challenges. Great defending, and the referee deems it a push. She had a hard bit done there. She dispossessed her opponent, but then a little lazy push in the back. Yeah, it's a great tackle from Eve again. As you said, a lazy push, and it's a free in for Oola. So they're going to have to get something out of this, I think. I see Drom is starting to bring a lot of bodies back now to defend. So yeah, there's a couple of subs there. One on the Drum side as Olive Lenihan comes back in to the contest for Sarah Shanahan. 2 on the Oola side is not sure exactly who has come off.
Kate O'D has already come on there for Caelan Fahy.
Okay, and they're holding off on the second one just for the time being. Amy Ryan switching the play across, but there was 2 Oola players there, but once again 3 or 4 Drum players all reading the angle of the pass and able to come up with it, and now acres of the 2 Scaly Crowns in front of them as they can launch their latest attack. The clock very much in Drum's favour now. 57 3/4 minutes on it here at Limerick GA headquarters. Chance now through Cueva Sheehan back inside. The Drom passing is very impressive. The bodies will be tired, the minds will be tired, but the passing still going to hand, still keeping hold of it. As here is Stack. Well, referee happy enough there wasn't overcarried, or she wasn't fouled, so chance now reintroduced is Olive Lenihan. Not too often we see players sub back on, but she links well here in a chance, and it's going to go in, and it's going to go over the bar. And another substitution, Clodagh Reedy makes her mark on this final. She puts them a goal to the good, a very well executed team score as Chloe O'Connell comes in for Oola, and Chloe scored the winning goal last weekend, so she'll be hoping to repeat the trick. So off for Oola goes Kathleen Bradshaw, scorer of the goal in the first half, but her side have struggled since the water break to find her, so fresh legs needed and a score needed. It's probably going to have to be a goal at this late stage. The referee allows play to continue. Do Oola have a third goal in them? They'll be hoping to draw on what Mungret St. Paul's did last year, scored 3 goals against Drom in the final. A third one would level it up, but Laura Stack intercepts, and once again Alana Mulcahy is in possession of this football. Very scrappy around the middle now. Referee right on hand. Let's play continue. In fairness to him, he hasn't been overly anxious on the whistle as the ball looked to have been carried out. Was it thrown out? No, it wasn't. This play continues. Seamus Hayes happy enough that that's good. A great ball switched across. Saoirse McCarthy, can they get the insurance point? Ball inside to the reintroduced sub. Skips through a couple of challenges. Looked like the ball was dispossessed fairly. And we have a few seconds left. Well, it's a very, very disappointing pass from Oola, and Drom can now take their time and launch another attack. Switched across, but intercepted by Leah Coughlin. There's only 2 Oola players in front of the ball here now. They're going to have to funnel their way up the pitch. And Laura Stack is intercepted again. It's a 2-on-1 inside here now. Can they work it and make sure that they will be 2021 intermediate football champions? It's sent in. It's sent over the crossbar. And it's Saoirse McCarthy from her left wing forward position getting in on the act. 4-point margin, Jack. At this point, it's looking pretty much like Drom have done enough.
Yeah, and it's a huge score there from Saoirse, because she actually missed a couple at the start this half, but like she has the confidence to back herself, and that's probably the biggest score of the day, and it comes from her. Yeah,
we're a minute into stoppage time. Oola going to need 2 quick scores. It doesn't look likely, because once again Caitlin O'Connor comes up with it. Oola, do they have one last hurrah in them? They're going to, another sub is going to be reintroduced for Drom Broadfod, I think, unless she's asking how long is left. Oola just need to get the bodies up the field and work a score. Chance now through Anna O'D, swapped inside. The referee gives a free. Anna O'D was fouled, and this is just going to have to be a bit of a Hail Mary effort. I think it's going to have to go in around the house.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose there's 61 minutes gone here, so as you said, drop it in around the house, and hopefully that you'll get the likes of Amy onto the end of it, who I suppose is capable of coming up with a big score.
Yeah, an instinctive player in around the house is Amy Ryan, and hopefully from her point of view she'll be joined by some of her teammates as Gemma Barrett is reintroduced. The second time Drom have brought a player back on, and the free is going to be taken by Gemma O'Dwyer. O'Dwyer looking for options, and the referee, well, I'm just waiting for Drom to be reduced to their 15. The sub has come off, and the ball goes back, so they're going to have to work it through the hands and try and create an opening. Another chance here now. 3 or 4 Drom players is free in, a little bit closer to goal this time. Jack, do you think you might try and take the point here and then hope to win the kick out?
No, I think I would drop this one in. It worked a treat, I'd say, from a very similar angle in the first half. You're getting Lainey Stokes in there again and saying do more of the same. But I would be kicking it for a goal.
Well, she doesn't. She sends it high. She sends it over. It's going to be a one-score game now. 63 minutes played. at the LIT Gaelic Rounds, or the two Gaelic Rounds, as it has been rebranded recently. So 1-score game. Oola have to come up with possession, but Drom, as has been their MO, have been very, very competent with their kickouts, and they come up with it and get a free out.
They've been more than competent, Tom. They've been excellent throughout the game. It's rare enough that Ciara McCarthy didn't find a player with her kickouts, and it's just been probably the foundation of Drum's play.
It has indeed, and 1-score game. They're hoping that Mark Murphy has looked at his watch a couple of times and is happy enough, but we're going to continue. We did have a lot of stoppages in that opening quarter, or that opening 20 minutes of this second half, as Oola again infringe in around the middle area, and a chance for Drum to just slow it down, go backwards if they wish, and they needed to do so through Laura Stack. Possession very much 9/10 the law here, as Drum hold it. Ball sent inside to Roisin Cunningham. Cunningham sends it direct into the goalkeeper. Karen O'Dwyer is going to have to come up with it and try and launch an attack. Needs to be an accurate pass. It is. It finds a white and red shirt. One last chance, you'd feel, for Oola to come up with the levelling score. But back there is Caitlin O'Connor. And Caitlin O'Connor on her hands and knees fouls the ball. A bit of afters there with an Oola player, as the Drum management blowing their own whistles, trying to influence the referee here. Amy Ryan comes back to take the free. It's a disappointing effort, and Drum, well, the referee definitely has a look at his left wrist, his watch. He's continuing to play. We're 4.5 minutes in, as the Drum management
it's an unusual tactic. I don't know if I've seen it from a management team before.
No, normally from people in the first and second rows, but interesting to see the manager with his fingers in his mouth trying to blow this one up. Mark Murphy, an experienced official, it must be said, so he won't be listening to any of that. He's going to play till the final whistle. Another look at his watch.
This could also be a signal from the Drum team to keep hold of the ball. I know some teams have like calls and things.
Yeah. Oola really need to turn it over. And they don't. It's full time. Full time in the Tridental Limerick Intermediate Ladies Football Championship. And it's Drom Broadfod who are winning out on a scoreline of 110 to 2-4. A dominant last 10 minutes or so, it must be said. Level at the water break. They kicked 4 unanswered before Oola replied with a point, and that was enough to give them a 3-point victory. Champions last year, well, they've retained their title, and more importantly, it must be said they're going to be senior for 2022. Something they've clearly worked hard for. Their large panel here today between their junior B and their intermediate team, 43 players listed, and well, they're all on the pitch now, enjoying the moment, soaking it in. And sum it up for us. What was the winning of the game, did you think, from Drum Colours' point of view?
I suppose they had such a great start, I suppose, and they really put it up to Oola. I suppose Oola went in at half time only a goal down, but they were lucky to be only a goal down, to be honest. But yeah, I think they would have probably soaked a lot out of Oola in the first 15 to 20 minutes, and I suppose over the duration of the hour they were probably the better team.
You mentioned to me before the game, I think we were off air, but you mentioned anecdotally hearing that the training that Drum are doing fitness-wise, obviously football-wise you can clearly see it, but fitness-wise seems to be pretty relentless, and I think that it would be fair to say that seemed to stand to them in the second half. Yeah,
definitely, and I suppose when they really needed it there in the last few minutes, they really drove at Oola, and I suppose they would have Oola looked tired there towards the last 5 minutes when they should really have been able to push on. But yeah, their fitness levels, Drum's fitness levels looked absolutely brilliant today, and look, they're worthy champions.
Jack, a word for the losers. It's Oola on this occasion that you mentioned before the game that they got over that semi-final heartbreak. It's heartbreak today. They're just down to our right hand side. They gave a very good account of themselves after a kind of, I suppose, a nervy enough opening quarter. Since then, they really matched Drum for in a lot of sectors, but it was the last quarter they just came unstuck and just weren't able to find that accuracy they found kind of in the middle of the game.
Yeah, and look, they'll look back in the third quarter and think what might have been. But for Oola, it's obviously going to be disappointment today and probably for the next couple of weeks. But when they go back training next year, which probably won't be too far around the corner, they'll have to reflect on this year. They finally got over that semi-final hurdle that proved so hard for them to do in previous years. we've seen a lot recently in GA. It takes losing one to win one for a lot of teams. Even Monaghan lost in 17 before they beat Landers the following year, and they've been in 5 sets of finals. So even the best teams have to lose one, and they'll have to take solace in that. They will be the team to beat next year. Drom would, in a normal year, would have been playing senior this year anyway, so they probably see themselves as probably that bit far ahead. So for Oola, a building year, they got to the final, but it'll be disappointment for them. But they've got over that semi-final hurdle. Next year, they'll be getting over that final hurdle.
Yeah, more to come, you'd feel, from Oola. Plenty of quality players in their contest. Jack is just going to go down and watch the presentation. Delight, again, 12 months on from their last intermediate success. Drom are back and they're going to be lifting that cup for a second time. So, very impressive final quarter, must be said. Laura Stack coming to the fore, 2 frees and 1 a point from play, and then she was joined on the score sheet laid on by it was Lane Reedy and Saoirse McCarthy, I should say, landed a point as well. They're proving decisive, so they're going to lift the cup in a couple of moments. A reminder that we're not too far away now from the senior decider, the Tridental Limerick Ladies Senior Championship final. That the meeting of Monaghan and Ballylanders is already a couple of supporters from either side in the yellow and gold in the ground here, so that'll be throwing in at 2:15. Do swap over to the stream when you see fit elsewhere on the Sport Limerick page, so make sure you swap over as the cheers go up from the Drom Broadfod players. Just a word as well on where we are today, the 2 Scale of Crowns. We've seen county finals played across different venues in the last years, but it's fantastic for the ladies of both intermediate and senior that they get to play at, I suppose, what is the centre of Limerick GA.
Yeah, it's brilliant for ladies football, I suppose, to be able to play in the field as in good condition as the Tuscany grounds. And yeah, look, it's great, and I suppose it's good to get the recognition that the girls deserve. They train every bit as hard as any men's team, so yeah, no, it's brilliant to get the recognition, as I said, and hopefully that this will continue. And it's great to see the Camogie finals also being played here.
Yeah, Anya Cunningham has just said a couple of words there as Dipner O'Brien's fan club below her from Drom Broadfod give her a bit of a salute. So Anya Cunningham lifts the Limerick Intermediate Ladies Football Championship title. It's 2 years in a row now, a strange scenario, but that's the one they find themselves in. And she's going to say a few words now. Very sporting speech from Anya Cunningham as she lifts the Limerick Intermediate Football title. She's about to bring it down to her teammates on the pitch. Commiserations, it must be said, to Oola. They give a great account of themselves, and I'm sure they'll be back in a decider before long. So thank you very much for joining us. I've been Tom Clancy. We've had Dimpno O'Brien alongside me, as well as Jack Neville from Sporting Limerick. So that is going to bring more or less the end of our coverage. A reminder that the senior final is throwing in at 2:15. The stream of that will be going live very, very shortly, so do tune in for that one. It's the meeting of Ballylanders and Mona Gay. It promises to be a cracker, as my two guests said. So do tune into that. That will be on a separate link on the Sporting Limerick Facebook page, and do tag your friends in that, get them to watch it if they indeed are far afield or cannot make it to the 2 Gaelic rounds. So thank you very much for watching. Talk to you soon.